Imagine this. A spacecraft returns from orbit. Its parachute opens perfectly. Its landing looks flawless. Rescue teams rush to open the hatch, and inside the crew, three heroes sit peacefully in their seats, but none of them are alive. This is not science fiction. This happened for real in 1971. Today, we uncover the mystery, the cover-ups, the engineering failure, and the final moments of the Soyuz 11 crew, the only humans who have ever died in outer space itself. This story is dramatic, it's emotional, and for many people, it's still unknown. In June of 1971, during the height of the Cold War, the Soviet Union launched Soyuz 11, a mission destined to make history. Its purpose was to dock with Salyut 1, the world's first ever space station. The crew consisted of Georgy Dobrovolsky, commander, Viktor Patsayev, flight engineer, and Vladislav Volkov, mission specialist. These were experienced, disciplined, and highly trusted cosmonauts. Their task? To show the world that the Soviet Union could live and work in space longer than anyone before them. And for a while, everything went perfectly. They spent 23 days aboard Salyut 1, breaking every endurance record in spaceflight history. The world praised them as pioneers. But behind the scenes, doctors noticed troubling signs: rapid heartbeat, high stress, difficulty sleeping, loss of muscle strength. Still, the mission continued. No one imagined how dangerously close they were to the edge. Spaceflight in the early 70s was experimental. Almost every system was new, every mission had risks, but Soyuz 11 had a unique problem. There were no spacesuits. The spacecraft was too small to fit all three crew members and pressure suits, so Soviet engineers made a risky decision: we'll fly without suits. This meant any leak, any valve failure, any loss of pressure would be instantly fatal. NASA learned from Apollo 1 that safety was everything. The Soviets, however, prioritized mission success over safety margins. The crew knew the risk. They volunteered anyway. On June 29, 1971, Soyuz 11 undocked from the Salyut 1 space station. The crew was coming home, tired but proud. As the capsule re-entered Earth's atmosphere, everything appeared normal. The engines fired correctly, the separation sequence executed on time, the parachutes deployed beautifully. Communication remained stable. From the outside, this was a perfect landing. The rescue team arrived quickly. They knocked on the hatch. No answer. They opened it. Inside, the crew sat strapped in, exactly as they should be. But they were motionless. Their faces were blue. There were blood spots under their skin, a sign of explosive decompression. The world's greatest space heroes were gone. Immediately, the Soviet government went into crisis mode. At first, they kept the cause secret, but eventually, the truth came out. During re-entry, as the main module separated, a ventilation valve accidentally opened. This valve was only the size of a coin, just 2 to 3 millimeters wide. But in space, even a small hole means total loss of pressure. The cabin depressurized within seconds. The crew had no suits, no oxygen masks, no manual way to close the valve in time. Medical investigators determined the timeline. At 30 seconds after the valve opened, the crew would have felt pressure drop, ears popping, chest tightening, difficulty breathing. At 50 seconds, they would lose consciousness, oxygen levels too low for brain function. At 110 seconds, all three were clinically dead. It was the quietest, fastest, and most helpless disaster in the history of human spaceflight. During re-entry, communication is often interrupted due to ionized plasma around the spacecraft, so mission control wouldn't have heard a distress call even if the crew tried. Also, The pressure loss made no loud sound. The valve was hidden behind equipment. The crew had less than a minute to react. By the time the capsule reached thicker atmosphere and communications restored, the crew was already gone. At first, the Soviet Union told the world they died upon landing, cause unknown. They did not want to admit. The crew flew without suits. The spacecraft had a design flaw. The valve design was unsafe. Only years later did declassified documents confirm the truth. In fact, early reports said the cosmonauts died of heart failure, but the autopsy showed ruptured blood vessels, swelling in the brain, signs identical to deep-sea divers suffering decompression sickness. The Soviets were embarrassed. Not only did they lose 3 heroes, they lost them on what should have been their greatest triumph. NASA and the Soviet space program both made major changes after Soyuz 11. 1. Suits became mandatory. All future crews wore pressure suits during launch, docking, and re-entry. No exceptions. 2. The valve design was completely redesigned. 2 new systems were added: physical locks to prevent accidental opening and backup pressure seals. 3. Crew size was reduced from 3 to 2. This allowed room for spacesuits until larger spacecraft were developed. These changes have saved countless lives. In fact, in 1988, a similar depressurization happened on Soyuz TM-5, but the crew survived because they were wearing suits. Soyuz 11 taught the world the harshest lesson imaginable. The 3 cosmonauts were given a hero's funeral in Moscow. Thousands gathered in silence. They were buried at the Kremlin Wall necropolis, next to legendary Soviet figures. To this day, their story stands as a symbol of human bravery, a reminder of technological risk, and a cautionary tale in aerospace engineering. But more importantly, they are remembered as the only humans who ever died in outer space itself. Not in training, not in an explosion, but silently in the vacuum of space, beyond the world they were trying to explore. The tragedy of Soyuz 11 is not just a story about failure. It's a story about courage. 3 men risked their lives for the belief that humanity belongs beyond Earth. They achieved greatness, and they paid the ultimate price. Their legacy lives on in every safe launch, every space station mission, every astronaut and cosmonaut who reaches orbit today. If you found this story fascinating and you want more deep, powerful, and forgotten space stories, please make sure to subscribe. Hit the like button, share this video, and turn on notifications so you never miss another episode. Thank you for watching, and may the Soyuz 11 crew always be remembered.